The other thing, going back to the elderly residents, and you've got hospital patients, where you've got the same situation where they have to fork out a lot of money because the hospital on here can't actually cope with some of the ailments. I think that should be paid for. Now, I've got funding ideas to this, where this would work. The other thing, I find this quite unfair.
And we're moving on to another thing now.
Another thing, this,
Right,
yeah.
so you with that, Justin?
I think that's a bit of a paranoid idea.
Okay, next one.
Okay, I could run through this one with you, but anyway. The other thing, you've got, a little while ago, Trading Standards decided that they were going to kick something off where they were going to stop underage drinking. Good idea in hindsight, but what actually happened is they sent some guy out of 17 years old. He went round it, he looked like he was more 40. They caught a load of people out, off licenses, nightclubs and pubs, I think underhandedly, okay? And then they said, congratulations, what a great bunch of guys we are. We've caught all these people out, and there we are. I think that's time and resources wasted. Charity shops, on the other hand. Now, what have we got there? What we've got a situation where you've got a charity shop which doesn't pay any business rates. It has these people that actually go in there and they do their work free of charge. All right, and then you've got the manager on £20,000 a year. Now they do it free of charge, but they don't actually do it free of charge. If you look at it this way, if you're, I don't know, they're normally about 60, 70 years old, the people that are working in there. We all know it happens. They need their perks, and you. Justin, you might think, well, you know, I'll give away this children's playset to X charity shop, thinking that, you know, it costs us 25 quid and it's not that mark. We could put it on eBay. No, we give it to charity. What happens? Auntie Joni, who actually works in there, thinks, I know, I'll pay a couple of quid for that. And nobody...
So you want charity shops checked?
I want them checked and I want them audited because there's too much of this going on.
What do you think of that, Justin?
Well, they're already being audited, and I don't think you know too much about charities anyway, because charities do rely on volunteers.
Yeah.
Also, you know how a selfish world we are in. You cannot get anybody who's going to do 30 hours a week who's not going to get paid for it.
Well, it's not charity then, is it?
Well, of course it is. A charity's got to come and comply with the regulations, what the law stands for. And it stands for that the charities has got to have a paid officer in place in the shop.
Yeah.
So, you know, before you start spurting things out, I think really you've got to go and talk to the charities.
Hang on, Justin, how many more you got on your list?
Well, I've got some bylaws and that should be brought in. That
Well, yeah. What, have you got any more big ones there? That just quickly before we have to get rid of Justin.
Yeah. When it comes to horse riders,
what's your views on horse riders, Justin?
They're all right in their place.
What do you want to see happen?
right? I was driving along the road this morning, country lane. We're a rural island. Driving along, there was a young girl, about 13, 14 years old, on the back of a horse. Okay, on the road. Now, I'm no horse rider. I've only ridden a horse a couple of times, but they're quite heavy things. And what worries me is you've got a child near on the back of a horse who then can't control it. I think we should up the age to 21 years old. And that way you've got at least somebody semi-responsible on the back of that horse if there's a problem. And then the other thing, I think that, like cars, I think they should pay tax.
What do you think? Horse riders to pay tax?
That's if you have a look on the law, there is an unwritten law. The horses has got more rights on the road what the cars has actually got.
That's right.
The other way around.
You see that as outdated?
Yeah, so that needs updating first of all. Also, secondly, it's to do with the health and safety issue with regarding to that person. They're being irresponsible. So therefore, you don't need a legislation saying what you already got in place.
All right, would you vote for Henry based on what he's told you, yes or no?
No.
Thank you very much. Hello, Kevin.
Yes, are you there, lads? It's Kevin from the Pet Shop with No Name. Hello, Henry.
Hello, Kevin.
Now, I've been listening to what you're saying, and I've been quite a fan of yours, Henry, I have to say.
Right.
You've been a bit outspoken, a bit radical, and, yeah, in the vein of Mr. T, but, that you know, certain people are out there with things to say, and I think you were one of them.
Right, I appreciate that.
But, and there is a but coming, you're sounding a bit wishy-washy to me.
Oh, right, interesting.
You don't...
He's a bit worried about being on camera, if the truth is... if
Well, possibly, but I think from the councillors I've met, and I've met some pretty wishy-washy councillors, and you already seem to be looking quite grey like the rest of them to me. If you're going to be a councillor...
You've got to be honest. Say some of the stuff on air that you've been saying in the commercial breaks,
yeah,
Henry.
I mean, if you've got decent policies, some radical stuff that you want to shake up, then, you know, you've got to give us something to get our teeth into.
I just said to him off air, we just took a call from someone who didn't want to be on air, and they said, if I could vote for anyone, it would be English Pete. And tell Kevin what you said about English Pete.
Okay.
I mean, English Pete would take it on the chin. Just tell him what you said.
Okay, English Pete, right? Again, nice guy, but at the end of the day, he doesn't stand for anything, and he never will amount to anything. Because at the end of the day, what he does is he sort of says, I'm going to do this, going to do that, and, you know, it's going to be... Oh, it'll happen then.
You called him Dreamboat Pete, didn't you?
Yeah, but that wasn't really meant to be on air. But anyway, yeah, Dreamboat Pete.
Well,
yeah.
I think that's a bit of perhaps a not fair statement as such, but it's Pete. There's a lot of good proper backbone stuff, but that don't get things done.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. That's why I said Dreamboat Pete. That's why I sort of mentioned it wasn't really meant to. That wasn't really meant to go on air. But
I don't think I would take umbrage about this, because I have with Alex before. And he said something about Pat the Builder's accent about being common. Someone's regional dialect doesn't make them common, does it?
Well, no, yeah, but it does give that. I mean, yes.
Tell him what you said about Pat in the commercial break too.
Pat does sound common. He comes over, that comes across with that London accent, and it sounds common, just like.
Why wouldn't you not call it chirpy Cockney? I mean, Alex is in the same vein with you. I know he's in the same boat with you on this one.
Yeah, but chirpy but chirpy Cockney, but sort of check your wallets there at the same time. It's like when you got Liverpudlians, you got exactly the same thing there. You worry about, you know, always. I mean, it's just a thing when somebody comes out with a certain accent, you end up standing on guard. You sort of think, well...
So if there could be a really nice, trustworthy Liverpudlian, you're not saying they don't exist, but you hear the Liverpool accent, you think, or a Midlands accent, I better watch out.
That's it, you check the doors are locked on the car, that kind of thing.
Right, yeah, but this stereotyping shouldn't go on, but yeah, no, I can take it.
Yeah, but listen, at the end of the day, you say it shouldn't go on, you're not telling me that at the end, that you don't actually adhere to that yourself. It's just instinct.
Well,
certain accent.
I've never really fancied a bird with an accent, personally.
No, or me.
All right, we've got to move on, Kevin. Thank you. Would you vote for Henry?
I want to hear some of his policies. If he's a radical bloke in his past, I helped him with his Bike Farm website, and if he's got some radical policies, yeah, I want to hear them and decide on them.
All right, before we go any further, I was going to ask you what you thought of Pat Frampton, who lives on Pan. You said in the commercial break you had a bit of a problem with her, but we'll do that after a couple more calls. Hi, who's that?
Good afternoon, chaps.
Hello there, English Pete.
Hello there. I'm absolutely delighted, Henry, to know that you consider me to be a dreamboat.
Well, very much so.
Fine, but, you know, that's fine. I'll take it as a compliment. I'm sure it was intended to be.
Well, it wasn't really meant to be a compliment, if we're being quite honest about the whole thing. Pete,
sounds like it to me.
Pete, you came up with some ideas. You've come on the phone and you say you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and everyone's left high and dry. We were all relying on you, Pete, and it didn't happen. What I'm doing, I'm actually going out there. I'm doing it.
Oh, but Henry, if you're preparing a political manifesto, it doesn't hurt at all to put as much effort into preparation as possible, does it?
Yeah, but Pete, it never happened. Pete, you let everyone down. It didn't.
Down.
Well, all the time you've come on here, right? Well, when Alex is good enough, he gives you about 15 minutes. Chat on the phone in, sort of let your steam off, and you even say yourself, I won't go on the phone in because I don't want too much airtime. What you've basically done is you said, yeah, I'm going to do this, and you've done nothing.
I am guilty, Henry, of having a very big mouth, it's true, and I can't...
There's nothing wrong with that, but Pete, you've done nothing.
We're talking about you today, and I want to go back to your first call of Mr. T.
Mm-hmm.
I think that man coming on and comparing himself to you as an equal, I think the man's kidding himself, quite frankly. He's not even a Robin to your Batman. I wouldn't even rate the guy as an Alfred to your Batman. You know, you are streets above him in terms of quality.
Is that a vote I can hear in the background?
Is it what?
Is that a vote I can hear in the background?
No doubt about it. Yeah, you're brewing up for a vote of mine for sure. But I want to know.
I think he means at the next election, Pete.
Yeah. Look, I want some radical policies from you, Henry. If you're going to get that vote.
Yeah.
All right, Pete. We're going to come back to you. I think we've got little Pat the Builder on the phone. We're going to come back to you for those policies. Pat, I guess you want to speak to Henry.
Hello, Pat.
Yeah. All right.